Aloha from Hawaii, from the Kauai Tibetan Buddhist Dharma Healing Center on the island, here on the island of Kauai. Aloha. I'm Amatashi. We present this class every Thursday night, 6 to 8 o'clock, and it is recorded on our website, hawaidharma.org. Tonight's program is involving meditation and yoga practice in the Tibetan tradition, using breath, which we use with the 3 lights meditation practice, and the 5 elements practice. We're going to go through that to strengthen our imagination and focus, working together. And then the main practice tonight will be Vajrasattva Vajrayogini practice for purification. I'll explain the application of each one of these practices as we progress through the class. When we involve ourselves with the Tibetan tradition, we become what is called extraordinary in the human condition, because we are directly reprogramming our mind to accept our true nature, which is an innate state of natural awareness. And this natural state is called Buddhahood, but all sentient beings have it. And when we use the word sentient beings, of course, that includes all of the animals, all the humans, and all the spirits in the entire universe. The theme of this is interconnectedness, which simply means that everything and everyone is part of your support system and actually is manifesting because of your consciousness. So in reality, what creates this universe? What creates life? Your mind. And nothing outside of that is self-creating. Nothing that you see, smell, taste, touch, or feel, which is how we interact with our world around it. And nothing that you think of is the creator. Everything depends on everything else. And because of that, the natural mind exists as the universe. So when you connect to this other state, which is clear, open, and powerful, and not at all supernatural, divine, or sacred, like a religion, you are connecting with the universe. But connecting in a way that places you on equal status as part of the support system, as part of the benefit program, that which produces what we call good results. Or the Tibetans like to use the term in translation, virtuous activity, which compensates for all of the harmful situations that exist and the pain and suffering that sentient beings experience physically, mentally, and emotionally. So that makes it worthwhile. Now, the practice has to, first of all, entertain this idea of interconnectedness in a way that transforms the separateness of our normal way of being. And how that works is we, the Tibetan practitioners, incorporate compassion with the motive of altruistic application. So that means no animal, no spirit, no human left out. And we think of this altruistic motivation as equally applied. So no high, no low, no inside, no outside, everything level. We level the playing field to start with. Then we take refuge in the three jewels, the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, which all Buddhists do. But we do it with a special application of the teacher and the teacher symbols as part of the refuge. And those are called the three roots. Three roots of what? Three roots of tantric practice, or three roots that take you directly into your natural mind's state and how to apply it. That's our support system. Then we also take refuge in bodhisattvas, which involves actual practice. And the practice is sixfold with 6 disciplines: generosity, morality, patience, perseverance, meditative focus, and insight. And the reason I introduced this taking refuge this way is because a lot of people, they think all they have to do is have devotion. That's the foot of the practice. But devotion has to go along with the idea that all of this interconnectedness is simply an illusion, an emotional state dominating how we are, how we exist, either as a human being or an animal or a spirit, and how we kind of rotate through those 3 types of existence. And this is unfavorable. So the 3 jewels, the 3 roots, and this altruistic motivation are the antidote to this state of rotating and conditioned existence. So we start with the altruistic motivation, we read it together, and then we'll do the refuge in both Tibetan and English, and then we'll do the Bodhisattva prayer called Bodhicitta. I'll chant the altruistic motivation, and then we'll say it in English. Da dong yo wa nam ke da dong yam pe sem chem tam che du di ne ju te ji si zhen shu ning po la chu pi gar du. Now we say that prayer in English. In order to attain enlightenment for ourselves and the sentient beings, our mothers, we now all together take refuge and offer prostration. We go for refuge to all the glorious Holy Lamas. We go for refuge to all the idams who are the deities gathered in our mandalas. We go for refuge to all the Buddhas, those who have conquered the mind and gone beyond. We go for refuge to all this supreme Dharma. We go for refuge to all the noble Sangha. And we go for refuge to all the doctors and Darkinis who are protectors and defenders of the Dharma. All of these possess the eye of transcending awareness. To the Buddha, Dharma, and this supreme assembly, we go for refuge until enlightenment. May I, through the merit of practicing the 6 disciplines or perfections, accomplish Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings. Now we chant the refuge prayer in Sanskrit. Ave Mama Dampa Dhamma Samsu Chiyo Yedam Shokor Gilaso Dhamma Samsu Chiyo Sanjay Shom Dende Dhamma Samsu Chiyo Dhambe Chur Namma Chasu Chil Dhambe Gendu Namma Chasu Chil Rao Kandro Chokyum Summe Shoye Sheki Shendam Nimpa Namma Chasu Chil. Now, in the Tibet tradition, this chanting of both this refuge prayer and the bodhicitta prayer are combined so that they become the theme of whatever kind of practice you do. Whatever state of mind you find yourself in, this is the theme, the flavor. Sanjay Chonam Choki Chonam Lam Jai Chu Pardu Dani Chansu Shri Dani Jun So Jipe Sonam Ki Gola Enter Sanjay Marsho. Now, understanding chanting, like song, it affects the resonance of your physical condition. So you hear it, you're using your voice to express it, and you're thinking of the meaning of the word. So in Tibetan, when they chant, all of this comes together. They keep the sense of the sound and the meaning together, just like we do when we speak in our language. And this chanting, it makes you feel good. It increases your vibratory energy connection to everything and everyone around you. But more than that, it expresses to spirits and maybe a few humans that understand Sanskrit what you connecting. What is your connection? You're expressing this connection as in a heartfelt way. And it transforms you just as it is. Now, in a lot of Dharma centers, chanting is the main program with the sutra tradition. The texts are all done in Tibetan, and they're set up in 6, 8, or 10-line increments, kind of like a telegram. And that's the way they're chanted. And each of those increments has a special meaning. So yes, you could break down each sentence or increment of the Sanskrit, but the overall flavor is you involving yourself with this as a meditation practice, as a yoga. So that's how the sutra works. And we do it in the Tantric tradition by chanting or singing the mantras and the seesaw of whatever deity yoga that we do. So those are the two ways that we practice. But starting off with this meditation practice with the refuge prayer and the bodhisattva prayer, called bodhicitta prayer, not only gets the ball rolling, but gives you an idea of how it feels. So if you want, you can chant many times the refuge or the bodhisattva prayer. The bodhisattva prayer is chanted with a melody that actually is the way we do the Chenrezig practice in the sutra tradition. And if you do that many times, then if you happen to be in a Dharma center where they do the Chenrezig, which most centers do it every morning, then you already know the tune. Because it's the Bodhisattva Sanjay Chodam Choki Chodam Ma Jenju, that one. And so that's why there's two different tunes, one for the refuge and one for the bodhicitta. And the altruistic motivation is just a straight chant. Da dong do wa nam ke. No up or down melody. Now, when you do the three lights practice, prana yoga practice, the purpose is to bring the imagination, how you make pictures in your mind, how those pictures are projected outward to actually form things. So the outer manifestation, the physical world, and the inner, the imaginary world, are equal. And how are they equal? They're both illusory. Inside, can't find. If you look for the source of the thought and the emotional flavor that tastes your thoughts, that distorts everything that you're sensing, those emotions, you can't find them. But they exist, and they exist physically, mentally, and emotionally, all together. But that's what we call the drama world, or the samsara, the world of emotional involvement. And the emotion itself can be purified by simply looking at whatever particular emotion that's causing you some pain or suffering, like fear, or anxiety, or depression, feeling less than, or being angry, or being attached, or being arrogant, or being, feeling less than, we call jealous, or being stupid, which is kind of like the animal world. They suffer from stupidity, bewilderment, and ignorance, but they each have to be what they are, and they can't change. But a lot of humans are like that. So those 5 flavors of emotional conflict are in the 3 lights meditation of the breath. And so when we connect to that, we're bringing 3 things right away into our practice to compensate for the emotion. The first one is the inhale of the breath brings in clarity. And that's why we visualize clear light or white light coming into our lung, just this area, and filling that area. Okay? Then when we do the second breath called the middle breath, when we do that one, that's the energy of the elements in the air that spontaneously spread through our body. And that's where we visualize the red light, which is the energy of the light as a sense of warmth. And then when we exhale those 2, which we combine, out the nose or mouth, that's blue light. And that's the power or the result of this type of breathing, because you're bringing your imagination and your focus together with what you do spontaneously. What you take for granted is your breath. But without it, you don't exist in a physical condition. So the idea is that that's where not only the energy comes from, but the power to do whatever you need to do. To eat, to sleep, to talk to somebody, to communicate. All of this requires energy. So what are we? We're energy fielded. So we start right off with the energy as it exists, earth, water, fire, air, and space. In the air, we're breathing. And so inhaling the air, filling the lungs with white light, the energy program of that spreads through the body. That's the way it works. It starts here and goes everywhere through it. That's visualized as red light. And then those 2 together form the out breath, which is a healing breath, a very powerful breath. as an expression of healing or actually result for all other beings in space. And that's the interconnectedness program. The middle breath is we say, the understanding program, the energy itself, how it's so useful. And then the mental program, which is how we create our body. Of course, the mother creates the body, but how we sustain it is the white light coming in. So these are actual energy fields. We call them Buddha fields. And so when you say Buddha, you're talking about a human being who's become mature, man or woman. It's not just the guys, like the patriarchy of the world would think the men are running the show. But no, they wouldn't be here without the women. So who's running the show? And actually, who is more compassionate and understanding? The mother, the woman. So this is very, very important to understand in relation to that particular practice of the three lights. So we're going to start with that. So you sit with your back straight. This is called a mudra. The second mudra or position is to have the hands on the knees or in the lap. Be comfortable. Head slightly tilted forward. That's the third position or mudra. Mouth closed, tongue resting against the palate. That's fourth mudra. Fifth is head slightly tilted forward. And the sixth is the eyes open, soft gaze to the space of light directly in front, about arm's length in front. And the Buddha statues all show all these symbols, deities, Buddha statues, with the eyes about half closed to start with. But when it comes to the actual teacher, when they show a statue of a teacher like Padmasambhava or his consort Geshe Selgam, the eyes are like this, wide open, because you're a bodhisattva. And you can't be taking it easy as a Buddha. Buddhas, they let the protectors do all the work. But us bodhisattvas, we have to be working through things too. So I'm just telling you this because it kind of explains why the artist portrayed the eye. So these 5 mudras get you into the mode where the energy is flowing correctly through the body. There are other mudras like having the legs on top of the back of the feet, on top of the thighs, and having the arms and hands and head in certain positions. But those are more advanced. Then you just simply bring your focus to your breath and click in the imagination so that you are thinking the air you're breathing is visualized as white light filling your lungs. The absorption breath, the middle breath, is the energy of that flowing through every cell in your body. That's a red light flash, or you can sustain it. And then those two become the blue light out the nose as a healing breath in space. Breathe like that. Start your practice. You can do this anywhere, anytime. As you feel yourself move into a state of calm abiding, slowly disentangling yourself from the worldly activities of the day, you should know that the first breath, in the inhale, you are inhaling wisdom, insight, naturalness. That's the nature of the universe. The second breath is the energy of that. So that's the power of the universe, the life-sustaining power. And then the third breath is the compassion. So you're sharing this insight and power with the compassion to all sentient beings. You can think of them all as your mothers, or your children, or your family, like that. Insight, power, compassion. Insight is called wisdom. Intuitiveness develops from this. Once you have this breath practice, then you start to feel the qualities of being calm and peaceful. That becomes the platform for all of the other practices of Tibetan Buddhism. Now, how you work this is you take your focus off of your breath and imagine that the three lights, the white, the red, and the blue, join together and become a particle of energy or light in the center of your chest, creating a bindu, which we call a chakra. And in this case, it's called the heart-mind chakra. And what is taking place is you are connecting to the infinite potential of all of the energy as light, however it appears, however you think of what is appearing, throughout the boundless fabric of space. So there's no meditation, simply relax, use the particle as the connecting link, just like on a computer, and be present. Don't block any thoughts. Don't attach to any drama or sensual experience. In this program of mindfulness, this is called the ultimate mindfulness. Then we move by using now the imagination with our focus on that particle by expanding it in size until it creates a small sphere of clear light. So you move from that first dimension, the all-pervasive dimension of your mind, into this three-dimensional world. Then, with your imagination, expand that small sphere of clear light until it produces one of the symbols of the five elements. Tonight, we're going to use the space element, which we use a sphere of white light about the size of the thumbnail. I'm showing you a sphere of white light. It has all the five elements in it, of course, but this predominantly space element has its own healing energy program, just like the particle did. And so you think of that, visualize that as thumb size, about the size of your thumbnail, excuse me, in the center of your heart chakra. When you can imagine that there, then you label it space. Then produce it by visualizing it moving out in front of your body and up before your eyes, 2 feet in front. Now you've got your worldly two-eye vision and your inner third eye, imagination, working together. Then you start the healing meditation by imagining that white sphere of clear light labeled space to be large enough that you can see your body comfortably floating or sitting inside. Now you can take as much time with each stage of this healing practice as you feel necessary. When it was first introduced by Kala Rinpoche, it was about a 15, 20-minute meditation at each stage of the practice. Then, with your imagination, increase this white sphere labeled space to completely enclose the area where you live. For instance, this island of Kauai and surrounding water is visualized inside. Which simply means all the healing energy you apply to your own physical form now is applied to each and every sentient being in that area. Then expanded in size to completely enclose Mother Earth, including her atmosphere. At this level, the imagined and the actual are the same. Then increase it in size to completely enclose our solar system, sun and planets inside. Then increase it in size to completely enclose our spiral galaxy. Then move beyond conceptual mind to merge it with boundless space. At this point, you again relax and stay present, contemplating that, the infinite light of boundless faith. This is the energy field of your natural mind. Then return to that dimension of being and again visualize the white sphere enclosing the galaxy. Condense it in size to just enclose the solar system. Smaller and smaller just to encompass Mother Earth. Then enclosing the town, city, island, or area where you live. Then very much smaller to just enclosing your physical form. Accepting the totality of this universe as your life support system. And return it to its original small size in front of your eyes, arm length in front. Bring it to chest level and visualize it entering into your heart chakra. Shrink it in size until it becomes a tiny sphere of clear light, like a bubble in water. Tinier and tinier, smaller and smaller, till it again becomes the particle, connecting to the infinite aspects of light throughout space. No meditation. Relax in the natural state of your natural mind. All-pervasive mind, all-pervasive space. In this energy program, equal. Then return with your awareness to in front of your eyes and expand into your place of practice. And smile, you're on candid camera. I remember that. Now this 5 elements healing program, anybody can do. It's taught to children in grade school, high school, and college and universities. I know that because I've done that. And it's helpful. In some cases, extremely helpful. And it is the basis of the tantric practices of Tibetan Buddhism, and that's why Rinpoche introduced this program to us here in Hawaii, and now it's worldwide. And it became the flavor of this 5 elements chart based on Taoism, or what they call the Bonpo tradition of Tibetan Buddhism, and in some cases, other tribal traditions that use the 5 elements, like Hawaiian, American Indian, the Sufis, Hindus, and so forth. But our actual practice of this 5 elements escalates into what we call the Tara and Chenrezig practices. And how that works is the nature of everything is illusory. Now that's a big statement, because science agrees with that. And magicians work with that. They show you this, but actually this is going on. Illusory. So like this, like the magician's program, this illusory nature is the nature of your mind. And that's more acceptable because thoughts are innate. Everybody does this thinking thing, even animals, spirits, humans. The only problem with this interior mental program is the emotional conflict that we attach to the thought. So how to deal with that? Well, this gets the program working because everything inside and outside is interconnected. So even though it's all illusory, that's the flavor. And so you can use the Tibetan tradition with the basic 6 disciplines, which I mentioned before, the Bodhisattva discipline, evolving into what is called the 5 Dhyana Buddha energy field, or the use of deity yoga. And when you do that, they are the antidote to the emotional conflict of the human condition, the human mind. This is to get the body going, the physical program. And some of the mental program, because having the imaginary process working takes whatever mental program that you're producing in your mind out here. Like when you want to buy a car, you think car, but then you think what kind of car? So then its color and what make and all this and year and so forth. But then all of a sudden you got a car. Where did it start? It started in here. So this is showing you that this imagination is actually like a 3D printer. Okay, which is a pretty far out thing because they're not working with anything. You got a common substance in the printer, but it's this non-existent illusory light thing. That's the energy program to make whatever object out of that goop. Okay, so you do this with your mind. And when you imagine yourself as a bodhisattva deity, that means you're making your physical situation into illusory, just like it really is. You're nothing but a bunch of atoms. And that doesn't even apply to your thought process. Okay? So this particle thing, you can't apply that to thought. But now they're doing that. See? So they have equipment, you can put this thing on and little electrodes and all this stuff, and everything you think starts to produce something out here. Well, that's magic. You know? But that's how powerful the human mind is. Inside, outside, totally integrated, interconnected, however you want to think of that. So then we use the same color code as the element. That makes it easy. So if you have this chart, 5 elements on one side with all its explanation, that's the Tara. That's the mother principle. That's the way the universe is. Patriarchy, step aside. It all starts with the mother. Okay, patriarchy, no, but we'll accept it as necessary. Because without the other, you don't have a human. Okay, so when you do that, then what are these 5 spheres? These 5 spheres. Sphere indicates a symbol of universal application. It's a symbol. So symbols are the way we use the imagination. Doesn't matter what clan, what country you're in, what kind of society you have, it all comes down to symbology. That's the way the mind works. This is a symbol. But before 50,000 years ago, this had no real meaning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You couldn't do that. The brain didn't function that way. It just accepted everything the way it was, and then it had this fight or flight kind of mentality. Then the brain evolved into having 2 glands here that connect the left and right brain, so that you can imagine. Now the 5 fingers become 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's symbol of what? It's a mathematical application of your fingers. But your fingers are the symbol. Now if you close a hand, what do you have? 1 hand. So yes, these are 5 individual things, but actually they're all the same thing. Now that's a stretch on symbology. But that's the way the universe works. That's why we say everything is interdependent, interconnected. There's a symbol of oneness, unity. And so this becomes a symbol. Same hand. The same way, these 5 elements produce these 5 connections to these inner 5 states of awareness for the application of dealing with what causes you pain and suffering. Your thoughts. Yeah, you want to blame it on everything out there, like the universe isn't working the way it snowed when you wanted it to rain or something. Not going along with your inner program. But that isn't the universe's way it works at all. It has its program. And it's a life-sustaining program. That's it. No judgment there. The judgment starts in here. So we want to take the judgment call out of the movie. Oh, good luck. As we say. Good luck with that. Because if you see something and it looks good, you see? So this 5 elements and inner quality elements as 5 Buddha fields are actually the antidote to the judgmental mind. And it comes in 5 flavors. 1 to cover all the anger, hatred, aversion, judgment call. I don't like that. Then we have 1 for the arrogance of thinking things are supreme or supernatural or higher than. That's called, that one we colored green. Well, I didn't mention the antidote to anger, we colored blue. Then ignorance itself, not understanding, being bewildered or delusional. This is the clarity of the mind and how to use it. Then we have the superiority call. This is what gods and goddesses suffer from. It's called arrogance or pride. So that's this gold sphere. And then all of the attachment based on what you like. This requires discerning awareness that your natural mind is the way to go to deal with that. Because you can't just say, oh, I'm going to give up attachment. Attachment to sleeping, attachment to eating, attachment to wearing clothes, attachment to the opposite sex, attachment to oneself. You're going to give that up? Ha-ha. Those two words. Ha and ha. Ha for the I and the ha for the things that the I is real. Ha, ha. And actually that's part of the mantra. Om, ha, ha, ho, ho, three. And there's many ways that it's applied. And here we have Hawaii. Hello, ha. Three words, three symbols. Ha, the sound of energy. Lo, the consciousness. Ha, the healing. Of working with those two so that they don't produce pain and suffering. So ha is very powerful. That's the power. The lo is the consciousness. That needs clarity. And the ah is the energy itself, physical, mental, or emotional. Okay, so the Hawaiians knew what they were doing. And they work with the five elements. And they work with the Aina, the land, and the ocean, the Kai, and the mountain. So they knew all this and how to survive out here in the middle of nowhere, the middle of the Pacific Ocean. Can you believe it? Over 2,000 miles from the nearest landmass. So, Earth is the gold color code, but now it means equanimity. Water, the state of unity, the antidote to aversion. This unity, antidote, equalness, equal to pride. Then we have the green, the energy itself, the action. Air is always moving, but everybody needs it. Okay, so that's the Bodhisattva activity antidote. And discerning awareness, the red light, the warmth of the energy program of life. But more importantly, that it's all pervasive. And these five interpretations purify the ignorance, the clarity of the mind's natural state, and how to use it. Not just connect to it, not just sit there like ultimate ignorance. This is ultimate ignorance. I'm attaching to space. What's there? Nothing whatsoever? No, you can't say that. Space is full of everything. So if you connect to nothing, and you apply that idea to your idea of the self, that's the ultimate antidote to that ego. You dissipated it. And when you confine yourself in that moment-to-moment state of complete annihilation, you know everything. That's the way everything really is. And that's why is that workable? Because then you can use your imagination. Get what you need. Okay, so let's do that. Back straight. Head tilted, hands comfortable, mouth closed, eyes in focus softly to space and light in front. Breathe. Use the three lights because this is how we connect. Body, speech, and mind. Now, when you inhale the white light, you add the sound Om. This is the clarity field of the life support system of the entire universe. When you visualize the red light flashing through your body, the emerging, we call the intermediate breath, absorption breath, then you're connecting to the power of this life-sustaining energy. And when you express this clarity with the power as available to everybody, you, of course, included, because there's no separation, that's the compassion. That's the ultimate healing expression of compassion. Inhale white light, use the code sound Om. Red light energy flashing through the body, hear the sound Ah. And the vibratory energy of these two working together becomes the exhale of the blue light to space. Hear the sound Om. So you just sit for a while, breathe this way, imagine this way, and let these energies roll around in your physical form and around in your consciousness. Then, as before, you take your consciousness off the breath, focusing on the breath, and collect these three lights with these three sounds together into the center of your heart, creating a chakra. And all that you do at this stage is create the particle, which is the interconnection of all light throughout boundless space. And you simply relax in this mode. And the practice is to keep connected to this moment to moment. So with practice, the moment becomes this day, this hour, this minute, this second, this. Words cannot describe voidness. The Sanskrit word is sunyata. Then you move from this dimension of basic space by involving the imagination with the particle to grow it, to expand it into a symbol of a small clear light sphere. Then you expand that to a thumb-sized sphere of 5-colored light, indicating the union of the 5 elements with 5 states or applications of intrinsic awareness. And then with the 3 lights of your body and the 5-colored sphere, you make all that an offering, a puja, a light offering to who? Your root Lama and all the Lamas of the Tibetan tradition and all their symbols, all their Bodhisattva and Buddha symbols. However you visualize them, they're around you in space as your support. They accept your light offering and return it from their heart chakras to your heart like lasers from every direction. With this empowerment, the seed-soluble foam appears in your heart center inside the 5-colored sphere as ultimate and relative healing taking place. Then you move with that, applying it to all sentient beings. The light goes out from the womb to all the animals, spirits, and humans, not just in this planetary world of Earth, but to everywhere in the universe where they exist. And this causes you to become the clear light illusory body of the Bodhisattva, male and female. So tonight we're going to do the Vajrasattva purification practice, which is part of the basic 4 practices of Nundro, or Sutra and Tantra. And the home in your heart center now moves up above your head and becomes the center focus of the Vajra. Looks like this. So this is visualized above your head. In the very center of it is a sphere with the home. And this is like that 5-colored sphere. It has the 5 elements and the 5 states of awareness connected in your mind. Then, along with that, this Vajra enters into a bell. This is the male aspect, and this would be the outer world as a mother, the female aspect. When you can see these 2 clearly above your head, then you send the light out to all the 3 jewels, all lamas, deities, and protectors. The light returns into these 2 symbols and they disappear and become the male and female deities of this practice, Tara and Chenrezig in union in the Vajra family, which means complete unity with everyone and everything. And that looks like this and emanates with this, from this Buddha, which symbolizes unity, into these 2 deities, either in white or blue, or one white and the other blue, however you want to do it. Blue symbolizes water, physical world, and white indicates space. These two color codes are interchangeable. One cannot exist without the other. So with this deity pictured above your head, like this, I'm showing you the two deities in union, starts the practice. And in the heart center of one is the blue home, that's the male, and the other is the symbol of water, that's the female. So the home and the mom, which is the top color code of this chart, front and back, are visualized. And they pull the light energy from all the deities of this tradition, and the 100-syllable mantra appears around both of their hearts. So they're connected. So the home in one heart looks like this, and the mom in the other one is also visualized. And the 100-syllable mantra is like a coil, a spring, dead spring, or like they say, like a snake coil. And it moves clockwise around, connecting the heart centers of these two deities. But the theme is interconnectedness to all beings doing exactly the same thing as you are. So you're not alone or separate in this practice. Its application is not only for you, but all limitless sentient beings filling space. Then you sound the mantra. Now the 100-syllable mantra has a meaning in English. Take this one. Now find the 100-syllable mantra. You know it. I have another one. And open to that page where you can find the 100 syllables. Now this is the sutra text that I've just passed around. We're doing this as a tantric practice to condense the time element involved to do the practice. Did you find the 100 syllables? Mm-hmm. Okay, now we're going to say this 100 syllables together to get a flavor of the energy of what's going on up here. All that energy is passed down through you, through we call it the soft spot towards the back of your head, not the top of the head. Your Uma channel starts back here. That's 8 fingers from the front of your, if you have hair, your hairline back. Then that energy passes down through the head chakra, through the throat chakra, heart chakra, navel chakra, and finally to the sex chakra, and then completely purifies all of that patterning within your body that you put there with your emotional conflicting consciousness. And with practice, all blockages within the body are removed. And how this works is the energy of this light patterning from these two deities in union come down through you and fill the head chakra first, then the throat chakra, then this area, heart chakra, then your navel, then your sac. And while this is taking place, all the negative that you put there is pushed out through the pores and orifices of your body and becomes like sludge, or however you want to think of it. And all of that sluices off your physical form, just as you are, and goes into the earth as food and nectar for the beings that inhabit the earth realm. That's it. That's the practice. You have to sound this with your voice. Not just imagine this energy, this purification, the male and female bodhisattva energy, but you have to express it with your speech, because that's part of the purification. But it's also, all sentient beings are doing this exactly like you are in your mind. So we're going to chant the mantra. Get the feeling of the sound, of the sense of this actually taking place. Om Vajrayogini Vajrasattva Samaya Manopalaya Vajrasattva Denupa Iktatrito Me Bhava Sutto Kayo Me Bhava Supo Kayo Me Bhava Anurato Me Bhava Sarva Siddhi Memchayat Sarva Karma Sutsane Chitam Chiriyam Guru Om Aha Aha Om Bhagavan Sarva Tathagata Vajramami Vajrabhava Maha Samaya Sattva Ah. You don't have to say the one or the mom. Those are the final two symbols. They're in place. So that makes 100 syllables. You just chanted. Now you do it again. This time visualize the two deities in sexual union. The bliss of that energy passing down through you is light. Stage by stage you can think color codes of light at different areas in the body according to our chart. You don't have to, just have this program of energy pushing out all the negative connotations of your emotional, defective mental process that put them there, out of the body and down into the earth. Om Vajrayogini Vajrasattva Samaya Manopalaya Vajrasattva Denopa Iktatrito Me Bhava Sutto Kayo Me Bhava Supo Kayo Me Bhava Anurato Me Bhava Sarva Siddhi Memchayat Sarva Karma Sutsane Chitam Shriyam Guru Om Aha Aha Om Bhagavan Sarva Tathagata Vajramami Vajrabhava Maha Samaya Sattva Om. Then go back with all that energy, change the nectar, now shared with the animals and spirits that live in the earth. Om Vajrayogini Vajrasattva Samaya Manopalaya Vajrasattva Denopa Iktatrito Me Bhava Sutto Kayo Me Bhava Supo Kayo Me Bhava Anurato Me Bhava Sarva Siddhi Memchayat Sarva Karma Sutsane Chitam Chiriyam Guru Om Aha Aha Om Bhagavan Sarva Tathagata Vajramami Vajrabhava Maha Samaya Sattva Om. Again. Om Vajrayogini Vajrasattva Samaya Manopalaya Vajrasattva Denopa Iktatrito Me Bhava Sutto Kayo Me Bhava Supo Kayo Me Bhava Anurato Me Bhava Sarva Siddhi Memchayat Sarva Karma Sutsane Chitam Chiriyam Guru Om Aha Aha Om Bhagavan Sarva Tathagata Vajramami Vajrabhava Maha Samaya Sattva Om. Now, what are these deities holding in their hand? This is really cool. Vajrasattva is holding the bell and dorji like this behind the consort's back. Okay? Index and little finger extended, which means this is dispelling mudra. And then the Vajra and the bell, the male and female energy of creation, of life, but as illusory manifesting in the human condition. Then what is she holding? She is holding a knife and skull cup. Well, that means she's wrapped. Okay, that's why she's in blue. And he's blue. But here we're using white. Why white? Because that's the clarity of the mind. So when we say wrathful, he's peaceful, she's wrathful, those are the two dimensions of applying the power or the energy of this bodhisattva compassion. And it's necessary for both to exist simultaneously because animals, humans, and spirits exist that way. They're nice, but some not so nice. See? So we're not judging, we're just saying both need to be represented. All of this emotional conflict represented. So, Om Vajragini Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Tenopa Tito Tito Me Bhava Sito Kayo Me Bhava Sito Kayo Me Bhava Anayatu Me Bhava Sarva Siddhi Nanjayatu Sarva Kama Sutame Satyam Shriyam Guru Om Bhagavan Sarva Tathagata Vajramami Vajrabhava Mahasamaya Sattva Om Vajragini Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Tenopa Nikta Jito Me Bhava Sito Kayo Me Bhava Suko Kayo Me Bhava Om Vajragini Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Tenopa Nikta Jito Me Bhava Sito Kayo Me Bhava Suko Kayo Me Bhava Anayatu Me Bhava Sarva Siddhi Nanjayatu Sarva Karma Sutame Satyam Shriyam Guru Om Om Bhagavan Sarva Tathagata Vajramami Vajrabhava Mahasamaya Sattva Om Vajragini Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Tenopa Tita Jito Me Bhava Sito Kayo Me Bhava Suko Kayo Me Bhava Anayatu Me Bhava Sarva Siddhi Nanjayatu Sarva Karma Sutame Satyam Shriyam Guru Om Om Bhagavan Sarva Tathagata Vajramami Vajrabhava Mahasamaya Sattva Om Vajragini Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Tenopa Tita Jito Me Bhava Sito Kayo Me Bhava Suko Kayo Me Bhava Anayatu Me Bhava Sarva Siddhi Nanjayatu Sarva Karma Sutame Satyam Shriyam Guru Om Bhagavan Sarva Tathagata Vajramami Vajrabhava Mahasamaya Sattva Om Vajragini Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Tenopa Tita Jito Me Bhava Sito Kayo Me Bhava Suko Kayo Me Bhava Anayatu Me Bhava Sarva Siddhi Nanjayatu Sarva Karma Sutame Satyam Shriyam Guru Om Bhagavan Sarva Tathagata Vajramami Vajrabhava Mahasamaya Sattva. So this all-pervasive consciousness of your mind, the Dharmakaya, is symbolized by the Buddha Aksobhaya, which is a total state of interconnectedness or unity, the all-pervasive nature of your natural mind. Then from that energy comes Vajrayogini, Vajrasattva to activate that state in you. And at the same time, purify all the results of all the negative action of your body, speech, and mind from all past lives up to this present moment. Purify, dump it, recycle, make it all useful. Food and nectar for the gods and goddesses of the earth. They have all kinds of spirits, animals that live in the earth. So no waste of this energy. And in your own physical body, lessening the dense patterning you put there over time. Now, lighter, lighter, lighter. Clear. Om Vajrayogini Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Tenapa Ida Vido Me Bhava Sito Kayo Me Bhava Supo Kayo Me Bhava Anayatu Me Bhava Sarva Siddhi Mentrayatu Sarva Karma Sutta Me Chitam Triyam Guru Om Aha Aha Om Bhagavan Sarva Tata Gata Vajramami Vajrabhava Mahasamaya Sattva. Sometimes the word Samaya is pronounced Samaya. Same, it means commitment. Who are you committing? You. To what? Being completely healthy, being mature. Om Vajrayogini Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Tenapa Ida Vido Me Bhava Sutto Kayo Me Bhava Supo Kayo Me Bhava Anayatu Me Bhava Sarva Siddhi Mentrayatu Sarva Karma Sutta Me Sittam Shriyam Guru Om Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sarva Tata Gata Vajramami Vajrabhava Mahasamaya Sattva. Even though this 100 syllables presented in phrases, every single syllable has a complete, not only universal application, but an understanding of how to apply them to whatever condition arises in your stream of being. Anything that you say, anything that you think, and anything that you actually do. Om Vajrayogini Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Tenapa Ida Vido Me Bhava Sutto Kayo Me Bhava Supo Kayo Me Bhava Anayatu Me Bhava Sarva Siddhi Mentrayatu Sarva Karma Sutta Me Sittam Triyam Guru Om Aha Aha Ho Bhagavan Sarva Tata Gata Vajramami Vajrabhava Mahasamaya Sattva. Om Vajrayogini Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Tenapa Ida Vido Me Bhava Sutto Kayo Me Bhava Supo Kayo Me Bhava Anayatu Me Bhava Sarva Siddhi Mentrayatu Sarva Karma Sutta Me Sittam Shriyam Guru Om Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sarva Tata Gata Vajramami Vajrabhava Mahasamaya Sattva. Now, if you're doing the Nungro practice, the foundation practice, the prostrations in Vajrasattva, Mandala, and Guru Yoga, those four, if you're doing that and counting, then you need to have a mala. And this practice requires the empowerment of a lama. The basic practice of taking refuge and doing prostrations does not. The offering of the mandala practice does not. The Guru Yoga stage of practice. But the Vajrasattva Vajrayogini requires an empowerment, a deity empowerment, so that it works more effectively So that's what you are receiving tonight. The Om and Ah and Hum is the method of transferring this empowerment of Lama's body, speech, and mind, and all the lineage progression from Shakyamuni 2,600 years ago down to the present day teachers. All of that energy transmitted to you to do this practice using male and female deity, Tara and Chenrezig, as the Vajra family activity of uniting, of integrating, of total interconnectedness. So all the beings of the universe are in this program, not just one, and you as one entity, interconnected all beings. So you start to think like that. The more you do the practice, the more and more family members, lovers, friends, enemies, pets, animals, whatever, spirits, become part of the practice. So you evolve into that, just like you did with the 5 elements healing practice. No hurry, slowly, slowly. It took me 10,000 recitations before I could do it without reading it. Because I don't have photographic memory like that. Just like playing the piano, it took me many, many years before I could toss the music and play by ear. This is the same way. On-the-job training. Om Vajragini, Vajrasattva, Samaya, Manu Palaya, Vajrasattva, Deno Pa, Tika Jito Me Bawa, Suto Kayo Me Bawa, Supo Kayo Me Bawa, Anarato Me Bawa, Sarva Siddhi, Memchayat, Sarva Karma, Sitsame, Sitsam Shri of Guru Home, Allah, Allah, Ho, Bhagavan, Sarva Tata, Vajramani, now you could say this in English, but the actual practice, you have to use the Sanskrit language because this is about healing. Physical, mental, emotional problems of karma and judgment have been ingrained in you for limitless lifetimes up to now. So here's one of the translations. This is a more, we call devotional translation. I shall not disrespect any of these words of honor. I will sincerely and honestly keep to you. Who's you? The Lama, the lineage, all the teachers of this tradition. I will remain close to your attainments. Encompass me and bind me with the force of your compassion. Grant me all the attainments and powers of wisdom and methods to increase intuitive insight. Please be pleased with this devotion and practice. Give me all common and exclusive power and applications. Grant me all the responses to all skillful action that I now perform. Please turn my samsari drama mind into Buddha wisdom by purifying my body, speech, and mind in this way. Ah. We reconnect to the energy program of the universe. Ah. Then back to square one. Om Vajrasattva. Now you can visualize just Vajrasattva, but it's more powerful in this day and age to bring in the mother principle of the elements of Tara. We say 5 Taras as the blue or white Tara consort. Another translation of this practice is that your body is transferred into bliss, its natural state of clear light. Your mind or your speech resulting from your body being patterned and being lightened up with this practice, actually healed, affects the power and energy of your voice. So you're more appropriate speech, best way to put it. Then your mind is the mental application of all of this going on in your imagination. Keeps you present. So you're developing this state of presence by using the words, visualizing the deity, and then the energy recycled, and everybody in the universe doing it with you as a family. And then anybody else who's doing this practice is your Vajra sister and brother. That's the way we think in this tradition. So Abby is my Vajra sister. Yes, we're married, but Abby is my Vajra sister. Mark's my Vajra brother, and so forth. Why? Because we're integrated. Actually, and not just the idea, but actually. So yes, everything's interconnected, but you have to actualize that. This is how we do it. In the process, purify all that negative stuff. You don't know what you did. You can't remember last week. How are you going to remember your last life? You know? So just take it for granted. It needs purifying. That's what Mom used to say. Take it for granted. That means take it to heart. This is what we're doing. This is taking it to heart. This is the heart mind. This is the heart mind. This is your heart mind. Okay? 5 elements, 5 methods to purify attachment, aversion, pride, jealousy, greed, fear, anxiety, depression, and so forth. Om Vajrasattva, Vajrayogini. I like the beautiful. Om Vajrayogini, Vajrasattva, Samayam, Manipalaya, Vajrasattva, Dinopa, Kita Dino, Megawa, Suto Kayo, Megawa, Supo Kayo, Megawa, Anurati, Megawa, Sarva Siddhi, Namchayati, Sarva Karma, Sutame, Sitsam Shriyam Kudu Hum. Om Bhagavan, Sarva Tathagata, Vajramani, Vajrabhava, Mahasamaya Sattva, Om Vajragini, Vajrasattva, Samaya, Vajrabhaya, Vajrasattva, Dinopa, Kita Dino Mebhava, Suto Kaya Mebhava, Supo Kaya Mebhava, Anurata Mebhava, Sarva Siddhi, Namchaya, Sarva Karma, Sutame, Sisam Sriyam Kudu Om, Aha, Om, Bhagavan, Sarva Tathagata, Vajramani, Vajrabhava, Mahasamaya Sattva, Om. Now, if you were to repeat this 100 syllable mantras for the foundation practice, you want it to move along, right along a little faster. So when you use your mala, you keep track of each recitation. And it goes like this. Om Vajragini Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinopa Sita Dino Mebhava Suto Kaya Mebhava Suto Kaya Mebhava Anurata Mebhava Sarva Siddhi Namchayati Sarva Karma Sutame Sitsam Sriyam Kudu Om Bhagavan, Sarva Tathagata, Vajramani, Vajrabhava, Mahasamaya Sattva, Om Vajragini, Vajrasattva, Samaya, Manupalaya, Vajrasattva, Dinopa, Kita Dino Mebhava, Suto Kaya Mebhava, Anurata Mebhava, Sarva Siddhi Namchayati, Sarva Karma Sutame, Sitsam Sriyam Kudu Om Bhagavan, Sarva Tathagata, Vajramani, Vajrabhava, Mahasamaya Sattva, Om Vajragini, Vajrasattva, Samaya, Manupalaya, Vajrasattva, Kita Dino Mebhava, Suto Kaya Mebhava, Supo Kaya Mebhava, Anurata Mebhava, Sarva Siddhi Namchayati, Sarva Karma Sutame, Sitsam Sriyam Kudu Om Bhagavan, Sarva Tathagata, Vajramani, Vajrabhava, Mahasamaya Sattva. The Tibetans don't say wow, they say hey maho. But in any case, you work up to that. You know? You want to keep the sound and the sense of the words. Well, in this case, the sound is increasing your breath potential. Now, formally, when I was, younger in my body, I'm still younger, but my body was younger. I could say this all in one breath. Oh, get what I'm saying? All in one breath. So you're increasing your lung power. It's all about power, right? Energy is power. Physical energy, mental energy, spiritual energy, vocal energy. So everybody's attached to this power program, whether they admit it or not. You got to have it to do whatever you need to do. So in this case, you're increasing. You're upping the application. And you need to do that. You want to be a benefit to everybody around you, animals, spirits, and humans. This is how you do it. Now, like when you did the Tara practice, which is this statue on my left, or the Chenri Z practice, which is this one on the left, these deities are in each of these 5 energy fields. And they actually create a 6th one with the Chenri Z, which is the energy field of attachment, which becomes completely out of control with greed. So when you do these practices, you're bringing all the energy of the elements of Tara, and the methodology of using, connecting, and healing with that energy as Chenri Z, the compassion mode, into this practice. So at the end of the practice of the long mantra, you become the deity. Oh, they don't tell you that when they give you the empowerment. You receive these deity empowerments, they're not telling you to be the deity. But that's the whole purpose of realizing the illusory nature of everything. Yes, it's all atoms, but these atoms have a program. And the atoms of your body need to be reorganized, not just recycled. So you are doing this. So become the deity, become both deities. My training was just to be Vajrasattva, but after I started doing Tara, I like connecting. The modern teenage, what do they call millennials? They say, "What are you doing?" "Oh, we're connecting." What does that mean? They're having sex. Oh no, we're just connecting. What else? We're just hanging. That's the word for date nowadays. Oh no, we're not dating, we're hanging. Yeah, what else? Oh, we're connecting. Right. See? Same old. But on this level, you're connecting to the energy of the life force necessary for the human man or woman to reach maturity. That's what we're evolving. Okay? Yeah, it looks like everything's going to, where? Falling apart. But we're connecting. Interconnecting with what? The whole universe and all the beings in it. So be the Vajrasattva, be Vajradini, then do a short mantra. Goes like this. Same 5-colored sphere, mom and home, mom and the female, home, and the mantra is circling, connecting. Om Vajrasattva, Vajradini, mom, home. Don't have to say things. You're clear. If you get that far, you're dispelling all the negativity in the whole universe. In yourself. You are the illusory body of the universe as Tara, and your mind is Chenri Z. In the indestructible unity of interconnectedness. That's the Vajra family. The action is the Ratna family. The clarity of the mind and everything, the illusoriness, is called the Buddha family or Dharma family. The leveling of the playing field, equanimity, Ratna family. And the discerning awareness that your natural mind is infinitely more appropriate than your drama mind is obvious. That's the Lotus family. And if you apply it to greed, that's the lack of neediness family. Again, greed's a big problem these days. Well, a problem is an opportunity. Om Vajrasattva, Vajrasattva, 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 Om Vajrasattva, Vajrasattva. End with pay, the very last sound. That's the dispelling, that's the cutting off of the idea of a soul or a self existing separate. Cut. It's the root cause of all affliction. And all the result of those afflictions, pain and suffering. Then relax into avoidance. Just have all sentient beings as Vajrasattva, Vajrayogini dissolve into you. You dissolve into the mantra, into the seed syllables. They come together and disappear into space. Relax. No meditation. Clear and open, loving and kind. This is the accomplishment stage of the practice. You return as whatever deity practice yoga you like. And that becomes your most post-meditational application. Om, Om, Om. I'm returning to the three color codes of the deity, and we started the practice with the breath. Because this transmission of the Lama's speech is the Ah, the Lama's mind is the body of the speech is Om, and the application for healing to all sentient beings, the compassion, is the Om. Now, all the deities, symbols that we use, the Buddha behind me, which is the all-pervasive nature of mind, the application of that is Tara, Chenrezig, or 100 other deities. All of these have these three symbols, these three marks. So that the body, speech, and mind is the same no matter which symbol you use. And the transmission of Tibetan Buddhism is passed through these three. The Om becomes the actual empowerment. The Ah is the sound, the vibration of that practice, the speech. And the Hum becomes the mind of compassion with the healing energy of the result of these two, or all three, working together in one place, in one heart. Om, Ah, and Hum. So that's why we use this as the seed syllable of many of the deities and this Buddha, Aksobhaya, interconnected them. Because if you get that, then the other applications all fall into place. However you access the Buddha field, all five apps and all five elements are there. And you can move around in your mind. You know, like we didn't just go, oh, this is where we hold our focus. Oh no, here. Oh no, here. Here, here, here. No. You move around in your imagination. And then you apply it outside this neighborhood, this planet, this galaxy, this universe, this solar system, like that. This group of sentient beings, this spirit world, this animal world, this human situation. Om, 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 You got it. And we'll finish tonight's class with the dedication prayer. And I like to read one from Kala Rinpoche's 3 dedication prayers. And this one's called the Oral Seal. Seal means commitment. It goes like this. May the Buddhas, Lords of the Dharma, who possess the 3 vehicles of body, speech, and mind, and the 10 wisdoms of the application of the body, speech, and mind, together with all the gurus, all the deities or yidams, all the dakinis and dharma protectors, and others, all witness with kindness this dedication of merit. In this and other lives, by all my meritorious deeds of body, speech, and mind are now for the sake of benefiting all living beings. May all the emotional defilements become transformed into occasions for spiritual progress. May the appearances arising before my mind come under my control. For my own sake, may I attain the all-pervasive nature of the Dharmakaya, wisdom vehicle. For as long as samsara is not empty, may I achieve a great wave of good deeds for the sake of others. May I achieve this by the means of the true form kayas of the energy of the deity and the application of the Lama. With vast enlightened activities for all sentient beings, and my having trained each and every one according to his or her own needs. May those beings to be trained live in appropriate times for the accomplishment of that training and for their spiritual growth. May I be skilled in means with regard to arranging auspicious circumstances. That's Tashi. That's what the word Tashi means. May all my connections with beings be meaningful. May the oceans of samsara become empty. May all attain the clear light of the Dharmakaya, the natural all-pervasiveness of their own mind. May I accomplish this dedication of marriage just as all the Buddhists of the past, present, and future have dedicated their marriage. Until this attainment of Buddhahood and maturity, may I be born in good families, with a good mother and father, and be free of illness, possess clear faculties, and conduct myself with morality and introspection. May I be respected by all. May I fulfill all the hopes and wishes. And as long as I have not manifested enlightenment, may all harm from disease, evil spirits, harmful forces, humans, wild animals, demons, and the four elements become completely pacified. May my lifespan and merit increase. May glory and wealth become vast and usable. Then my renown as a Lama equal the sky. May all my activities of body, speech, and mind become beneficial for sentient beings. And may this drama field, this ocean of samsara, become completely empty. May I attain perfect enlightenment right now in this time. Chodi Nader Dempai Jumata, Kanu Miche Dumpai Jumaki, Sitar Bomon, Jumar Sho. By this virtue having realized Mahamudra, may I quickly establish all these without a single exception in that state. By the blessings of the Buddhas who attained the three kaya, by the blessing of the truth of the Dharma itself being unchanging, and by the blessing of the wishes of us, the Sangha being unwavering, may this and all dedication prayers be fulfilled. May all be happy. May all these be free of suffering. May all these be established in bliss and equanimity. May all the lamas have long life, good health, happiness, and prosperity, and may all their wishes be fulfilled. Tuchiche. Oh, thank you for a lovely evening and being in unity to do these practices tonight. Aloha.